This is Joseph Alexander Van Zandt. Today I'm demonstrating a program which I wrote to solve the quadratic equation. The quadratic equation is an equation such as x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. The key is it equals 0. If it doesn't equal 0, if it equals a coefficient term, then it is an exponential equation. Quadratic equations sometimes have the square root of -1, which is an imaginary number. In most cases, you can't get the square root of -1. If you times 1 times 1, you get 1. -1 times -1, you get 1. So in most cases, you don't get -1 as a square root. You can get it, but you get it in special terms. There's a special type of mathematics to deal that has to deal with, which has to do with electricity, such as hot water heaters, electric stoves, electric heaters, electric fans, electric motors. That has to do with imaginary numbers such as -1 or the square root of -1 or I, it's often the square root of -1 is usually called I. In my experience, I often make mistakes when I do the quadratic equation. That's why I wrote the computer program, so the computer program doesn't make any mistakes. It's more or less, I tested it several times, and then it doesn't make any mistakes. Because it doesn't make any mistakes, it's in general a much easier to use because there are no mistakes, which many engineers do. I'm going to test it with 3 squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. The first term is 3. The second term is 2. The third is 1. Okay, so the program came up with a solution. The solution is negative roots. Solution 1 is -2 plus the square root of -8i divided by 6. Solution 2 is -2 minus the square root of -8i divided by 6. In decimal form, the solution is -0.333, repeating decimal, plus negative square root 0.4714052i. Solution 2 is -0.333, repeating decimal, negative square root 0.471404552i. I again means that it has it's an imaginary number. Okay, so we're going to put in the second one. Would you like to run? Yes. Okay, so the first term is going to be 7 square root 5x plus 7. 5 plus 7. Okay, so I put in, so this one, it's negative roots. Solution 1 is -5 plus the square root of 171i divided by 14. Solution 2 is -5 minus the square root of 171i divided by 14. In decimal form, the solution 1 is -0.3571428 plus negative square root 0.9340497i. I again means imaginary number. Solution 2 is -0.357145286 minus negative square root 0.9340497i. That is the answer to the quadratic. Quadratics usually have 4 answers in them. So it's correct. In other words, oftentimes there's an I, imaginary number. In other words, there's a number plus an imaginary, like this, like the first one. The I is an imaginary number. It's separate. It's a separate calculation. This is Joseph Alexander Van Zandt. Thank you for listening.